All right, this week, an anonymous envelope was sent to Utah law enforcement and media outlets that contained a list of more than 1,300 people accused of being undocumented immigrants. Now, the list includes their birth dates, telephone numbers, and addresses. In a few cases, the list also included social security numbers and employers, and even due dates for pregnant women. Now, almost every surname on this list also is Latino. And the letter came from a group calling itself Concerned Citizens of the United States. They strongly believe that these people are here illegally, and they say in the letter that they gather the information by observing the individuals, and then, we quote, "We then spend the time and effort needed to gather information along with legal Mexican nationals who infiltrate their social networks and help us obtain the necessary information we need to add them to our list." Needless to say, someone in Utah is on a mission, and it's pretty scary. It's scary that lists with private information are being sent out. Kind of reminds you of blacklists during McCarthyism. So is this the new Red Scare? The Brown Scare, if you will? We're here to discuss it. With me is Jack Martin from FAIR, and joining us from our LA studio is Gochez from Union del Barrio. Gentlemen, I want to thank you both for being here. Now, Jack, I'll start with you since you're sitting right next to me. I think this is scary. The fact that people are getting this private information, we don't even know where they've gotten it yet, perhaps someone that was working for a government office in Utah, and that they're sending this out. Do you think that we're getting to the point where people are reacting, and so they're creating these blacklists of illegal immigrants?
Well, we don't know where they got this information. What we do know is that the government has always asked private citizens to furnish information, if they have it, that concretely indicates that people are illegally in the country. There is absolutely nothing new about this. What also has been going on recently is a number of volunteer groups have been tracking pickup trucks that pick up a lot of workers who are on street corners and taking them to job sites. And collecting information on who those employers are, and they may have been able to obtain information that those employers have collected on those workers. That doesn't mean
the employers would necessarily want to put that information out there.
They certainly would not have done that voluntarily. You're absolutely correct with that. And that doesn't mean that they're illegal workers either.
Tell me the last time that 1,300 people were put on a list in 1 week.
I assume that they have been collecting this information over a long period of time. The thing that's scary, though, is the government isn't going to do anything about this information unless it turns up information on people who are being sought because they've committed crimes or are otherwise deportable.
Ron, what do you make of this entire situation? I mean, does this freak you out a little bit that there's lists being handed out to media organizations in a state with 1,300 names on them?
You know, well, the sad part is that it doesn't freak me out because we expect these kinds of things. And as you know, as your guest has correctly labeled them, these are workers and these are people that have been put on this list. And these are people that are being under attack now, are being put under attack just like the rest of the 12 million plus undocumented people in this country. And like he correctly said, there's no way of knowing if those people are undocumented. So we feel that this is not only an attack on those people, but this is an attack on the American people. And if you don't realize that, that's something that you don't know who's on this list, and you don't know if that's your boyfriend, if that's your brother, if that's you. So it's something that we see. This is a clear attack on the American people, and this is something that, you know, back in the 50s it was a McCarthy era. Now it's definitely the attack on the immigrant community, and this is obviously an attack on people of color. You know, it's not going to be an attack on white America. It's on people of color, and we have to call it as such.
Okay, but Ron, you know that nobody's going to do anything because somebody's on a list. The immigration authorities that this list is being turned over to are not going to do anything unless they can establish the fact that this person is wanted for deportation and is in the country illegally. Being on a list doesn't mean that the person is deportable, and being on the list does not mean that any action is going to be taken against those people.
But does the fact that there is a list, does this highlight a growing problem in America? The fact that a lot of people in America right now are freaked out, that there is this feeling of xenophobia, there's a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment, and you could say that this is a reaction to that, and that some people might want to take it too far. Forget about the technicalities of whether these people will one day be deported or not. If this list is out there for anyone to see, what's to stop these people from trying to go after these people if they hate illegal immigrants?
The immigration authorities have a much longer list of people who have been reported to them already that supposedly, for one reason or another, people think are illegally in the country. this is going to be a very small blip on the accumulation of that information by the immigration authorities.
Ron, you think it's going to be a small blip, that we won't see a lot of reaction to this?
Look, not at all. And what's more important here is not the fact that the name's on this list. What really is important here is the fact that these people are trying to stir up even more hatred, more fear in the community. What they're doing is attacking the community. And what we know that right now, the political climate is such that 20 other states in this country right now, or 40% of the states in the United States today, are already trying to pass copycat laws like in Arizona. So this is just one more attempt to stir up anti-immigrant sentiment in this country. And whether or not the governor there in Utah looks at these 1,300 people or not, their objective was met, because this is something that other people in other parts of the country were going to try to duplicate. So this is another attack that we see, and you have to see it. It is xenophobic, it is racist, and it's something that has to be stopped, not just in Utah, but all over the country.
You know, it is not xenophobic and it is not racist to be concerned about the fact that there are many illegal immigrants working in this country at the same time and in jobs where American citizens are unemployed.
But is
I
it
think that we have a
xenophobic and racist that they go
responsibility.
after Latino immigrants specifically?
No, of course they shouldn't go after Latino immigrants specifically.
But they do.
And they should
Clearly,
not be.
every name on the list is a Latino last name.
No, they did not say that every name on the list was Latino.
The majority.
Yes, well, the majority of the illegal immigrant population in this country, according to anybody that you want to ask, is Latino. There's no doubt about that. The majority is Mexican, and you add in Central Americans, and you have a very large majority of the illegal population in this country that is Latino. That's simply a fact.
Ron, any response to that? I mean, one of the interesting things, though, is there are a lot of immigrants here also from Canada, but no one's ever going to ask a white person if they're here illegally. Ron, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you know, we talk about who is illegal and it's Mexicans. It depends on who you ask. And if you ask me, I would say that the great majority of the people who are here illegally are people actually who came here from Europe. You know, so today, this is very clearly identifying people who are brown, who are black, who are Filipino. This is on people of color. And if anyone that's going to tell me that's not true is simply lying. So I think that people today of all colors have to see this as an attack on people who are American. And, you know, we have to realize that. If a name is on the list, let's say like a Jose Garcia. Do you know how many Jose Garcias are going to be under attack now? And that might be someone who's legal or not. And it doesn't matter, because this is an attack on people, and this is something that nobody should be identified on this type of list and be persecuted in this day and age.
Come on, give me a list. They're going to be persecuted by whom? Who's going to go after them? The immigration authorities are not going to go after them.
Let's see. Right now we have the Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials, we have the sheriffs, we have the LAPD or any police department, we have racist groups like the Minutemen. There's tons of groups, legal groups or government groups and non-government groups who are attacking our people on a daily basis. Yeah, so when you put your name on a list, you know, that's very dangerous, not only for the people on the list, but for our entire community who feels that we're being terrorized right now and singled out by these types of lists.
Come on, that type of exaggeration doesn't serve any purposes. The only people who can make an arrest for somebody being illegally in the country are the immigration authorities and those who have been specifically deputized to act as immigration authorities. And they're not going to act on this information unless they have concrete evidence that this person not only is illegally in the country, but is wanted for deportation.
Now,
I would say you obviously have not seen how things operate out in the streets, out in the field, because whether you're documented or not, people are harassed on a daily basis simply because of the color of their skin. So when you say that only ICE officials can make arrests, that's obviously not true. In many cities in this country, you have now sheriffs can do that, now you have police officers that can do that, and you have even people, racist reactionaries like the Minutemen and other groups who are doing citizens arrests and have even, you know, are continuing to do these attacks on our people. So it's not only people who are going to be detained by ICE, but it's many different levels of federal and local officials.
All right, guys, we got to wrap it up because we're out of time. I'm sorry. I want to thank you both for being here, but this is a debate that is not going to stop anytime soon, so we will have it again on the show.